All right, let's talk about something that drives so many people crazy. That burning feet feeling you get at night. You know what I'm talking about. It's this frustrating mystery, and it absolutely ruins your sleep. But what if that pain is actually a signal, a clue? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to play detective and sort through those clues together.
Wow, this quote it hits home, doesn't it? The house is finally quiet, you're exhausted, you're ready to crash, and that's when it starts. It's like your nervous system decides to throw a raging party in your feet. The sheets suddenly feel like sandpaper, there's this buzzing and stinging, and yeah, sleep? Good luck with that.
And look, the stakes here are actually pretty high. This isn't just about losing sleep, as miserable as that is. If you're just guessing what's causing it, you could be missing some serious red flags. You might end up wasting a ton of money and time on treatments or tests that don't even target the real underlying issue.
So, that leads us right to the big question, the central mystery we're trying to solve. Is this burning coming from what we call peripheral neuropathy, or is the problem actually starting all the way up in your spine? We're going to break down these two main suspects. Think of this as your personal guide to cracking the case.
All right, let's get to it. It's time to meet our two main suspects. You know, the key to solving this whole thing is really understanding how each one typically behaves.
Okay, suspect number 1, peripheral neuropathy. All this really means is that there's damage to the nerves way out in your limbs, like your hands and feet. The classic sign, the thing you really need to remember, is this stocking pattern. Just imagine pulling on a stocking. The feeling starts at your toes, right? And then it slowly, gradually creeps up your foot and ankle. That happens because it affects your body's longest nerves first.
And then we have suspect number 2, spine-related radiculopathy. Now this is a potential game changer, because with this one, the problem isn't actually in your foot at all. Nope, it's starting way up in your lower back. A nerve root gets pinched or inflamed right where it leaves your spine, and it just shoots those pain signals all the way down the leg, with the pain landing right in your foot.
So, let's put them side by side. This is the big picture, the fundamental difference you need to see. Neuropathy, it's usually a team player, affecting both feet in that classic stocking pattern. But a spine issue, it's more of a lone wolf. It almost always picks one side, one leg, and the pain follows a very specific path right down that leg.
Okay, detective, your turn. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of gathering your own clues. We've got 5 key things you can look for right now to start building a much clearer case file for what's happening in your own body.
Clue number 1, and honestly, this might be the most powerful clue of all. Symmetry. Just ask yourself this one simple question. Is this happening in both of your feet, pretty much the same? Or when you really stop and think about it, is it mainly one leg and one foot that's causing all the trouble?
And this quote, this is that light bulb moment so many people have. You've been saying my feet are killing me for years. But the second you stop and think, wait a minute, it's not my feet, plural. It's my left foot and left leg. Boom! The whole investigation shifts. Suddenly you're not looking at your foot anymore. You're starting to look at your back.
Okay, clue number 2, the pain path. How does this pain actually move? Neuropathy is kind of like a slow creep, like a tight, hot sock is being pulled up over your foot, and you just can't get it off. But spine pain, whoa, that's way more dramatic. It's often described as a lightning bolt, a sharp, defined path that zings right down your leg.
All right, clue number 3 is all about the triggers. What makes it flare up and what seems to calm it down? Neuropathy pain is famous for getting worse just because you're lying still. It doesn't really care how you lie. But if you notice that shifting your back around, bending your knees, sticking a pillow under them, if that actually helps, even a little bit, well, that is a huge clue pointing right at your spine.
This story about the bus driver is a perfect example. So this guy had diabetes, and his doctor told him, you've got diabetic neuropathy. Makes perfect sense, right? But the bus driver was sharp. He noticed that his absolute worst nights of burning feet were always right after a really bad back day from driving. It turns out he had both problems. But that vicious, can't sleep a wink pain, that was actually coming from his spine.
Okay, moving on to clue number 4, sensation and strength. Let's talk about what else these nerves might be up to besides just causing pain. Are things getting numb? Are you feeling weaker? And think about the pattern of it. Does it feel like you're walking on cotton balls with both feet? Or do you have a really specific, one-sided weakness, like you can't lift the front of just one of your feet?
And this chart breaks it down perfectly. For neuropathy, you get that stocking numbness, that feeling of walking on sand with both feet. And here's a weird but classic sign. Your balance gets way worse in the dark because your eyes can't make up what your feet can't feel. A spine problem, though? That's different. It's more like a specific strip of numbness down your leg, or a very particular weakness, like you suddenly can't go up on your tiptoes on the left side, but the right side is totally fine.
All right, our final clue, clue number 5, is your own personal rap sheet, your medical history. The answer is often hiding here in plain sight. If your personal history includes things like diabetes, chemotherapy, heavy drinking, or certain vitamin deficiencies, well, the evidence starts piling up pretty high on the side of peripheral neuropathy.
But on the flip side, if your medical file has entries like a previous disc herniation, a bad back injury from years ago, or you've already been diagnosed with something like spinal stenosis, well, now the finger of suspicion is pointing pretty squarely at your spine as the culprit.
Okay, so you've gathered all your clues, you've thought about the symmetry, the pain path, your history. So what's next? The goal isn't to diagnose yourself. The goal is to organize everything you've just learned into a clear, simple case file that you can walk in and share with your doctor.
But hang on. Before we do anything else, we have to do an urgent safety check. And I'm really serious. This part is non-negotiable. If you have any of these symptoms, like a sudden weakness where you can't lift your foot up, any loss of bladder or bowel control, or numbness in the groin area, that is a medical emergency. You need to stop what you're doing and get help immediately.
Okay, assuming none of those red flags apply to you, here is a super simple, actionable plan. And I'm talking 15 minutes, that is it. In 15 minutes, you can put together an incredibly powerful tool for your doctor's appointment. Just map where it hurts, jot down a quick timeline of when it started, and list your top 3 worries. This is how you go from being a passive patient to being an active partner in figuring this out.
So, after all this detective work, what's the verdict? Where does this all leave us? Well, it's pretty simple actually. It's about taking what you now know and turning it into a real plan. And you can get started tonight.
And please remember this if you remember nothing else. That burning pain at night can feel so random and unfair, almost like a punishment. But it's not. It is a signal. Your body's trying to tell you something. And the amazing thing is, as we've just gone through, that signal can be decoded. You just have to know which patterns to look for.
And let me be totally crystal clear about our goal here. This was not about you giving yourself a final diagnosis. No way. The whole point of this is to empower you to become the world's #1 expert on your story. So when you walk into that doctor's office, you're not just saying, my feet burn. You're walking in armed with clear, organized clues. So I'll just leave you with this one last question. There's a good chance your feet might still burn tonight. I get that. But before you get into bed, are you willing to take just 15 minutes to create that case file? To finally go to sleep with a concrete plan of action instead of just spending another night trapped with the same old, frustrating, unanswered question?